Well, more outrage tonight from the left over the Supreme Court's Hobby Lobby decision, which upheld certain companies' religious rights to decline to cover some birth control. The latest installment in misleading hysteria comes from the House Minority Leader.
We should be afraid of this court, that five guys should start determining what contraceptions are legal or not. That court decision was a frightening one, that five men should get down to the specifics of whether a woman should use a diaphragm and she should pay for it herself or her boss. It's not her boss's business.
Nancy Pelosi either doesn't know what she is talking about or is intentionally misleading you. First of all, the gender of the justices in the Hobby Lobby majority is totally irrelevant. Ms. Pelosi's reference to it is obviously an attempt to stoke resentment. When Roe v. Wade was decided, it was all men in the majority. Does Ms. Pelosi think those justices were ill-equipped to fairly decide that case? Or is it only when a judge disagrees with Ms. Pelosi that his gender is an issue? If Speaker John Boehner made a similar comment about the female Supreme Court justices, Nancy Pelosi would be crying sexism. And that's what she is guilty of here. Moreover, the five men in the Hobby Lobby majority did not, I repeat, did not, quote, determine what contraceptions are legal. Nor did they, quote, get down to the specifics of whether a woman should use a diaphragm, end quote. What a gross misrepresentation. Newsflash. All birth control that was legal before this decision remains legal today. The High Court simply found that a religious freedom law, which was co-sponsored by none other than, wait for it, Nancy Pelosi, sometimes protects corporations from being forced to violate their religious beliefs. She co-sponsored the law that gave them that right. Neither the High Court nor Hobby Lobby took issue with Kathleen Sebelius' minions over at HHS mandating behind closed doors after Obamacare was passed that companies cover birth control, 16 forms of it, in fact. But the majority did say that Hobby Lobby still had the right to object to covering just 4 forms of birth control that happen to terminate a fertilized egg, which some believe is abortion. No one ruled those contraceptives were illegal, and the diaphragm was never even discussed. It wasn't even one of the birth control forms at issue, which Ms. Pelosi should really know, since she famously promised us that after Obamacare was passed, at some point, we'd know what was in it. Joining us now, Brent Bozell, president of the Media Research Center. Brent, and so I've seen the media rush to clarify Ms. Pelosi's misleading remarks as well as Sandra Fluck's remarks. Oh, no, actually, I have seen none of that except on Fox News.
You know, I really don't know why you have me on tonight, because you pretty much said everything, and I just can't say it better than you just put it. Look, let's try to understand what is going on here. This is everything Nancy Pelosi said was a flat-out, unambiguous, deliberate lie. She flat-out lied. Harry Reid flat-out lied when he said the same thing, because they can't tell the truth. The truth, if they were going to be objective, would be this. We believe that our demand that you fund abortifacients trumps your objection based on a moral concern that you believe it's murder.
But let me jump in.
Because the whole country would see what they're saying.
Let me explain to you. And by the way, the Harry Reid comment Brent is referencing is Harry Reid. He cast the Supreme Court decision as one of 5 white men. Hello, Clarence Thomas, taking control of women's lives. That's what he says. But the reason my analysis that I just provided is as a lawyer. I practice law for 9 years. I regularly do legal analysis for the channel. And that is my legal analysis of her bogus claim. It's completely untrue. Right. Completely untrue. Okay, the reason I want you to talk to you, Brent, is because when you've got somebody in such a powerful position as Nancy Pelosi, in a position to influence so many people on such a platform, come out and tell blatant falsehoods, there should be some fact-checking. Where is PolitiFact on that? Where's the mainstream media calling her to account?
Where did she say this? She said this at a press briefing. For the love of God. She said it to them. They're the ones who were there covering it for her. You know, you can say, okay, the left is playing their normal class warfare, race baiting, war on women games. Okay, I get that. Where are the media covering this? When you decide you're not going, and by the way, nobody covered it tonight. When you decide you're not going to cover it, then Megyn, you're aiding and abetting in a lie. You're aiding and abetting in a national
They don't
lie
care.
to the American people.
They don't care. Why? Because what she's saying fits confirms their pre-existing belief, which is the Supreme Court is about these evil conservative men who want to interfere with women's bodies.
Actually, Megyn, I think they do care. I think that they are as radical as the radical left is on abortion. Abortion is the holy grail. Terrible metaphor, but it is the holy grail for the radical left. I do believe that so many in the press are vested in this. They support this.
The hypocrisy.
Ends justify the means, remember that.
The hypocrisy on the attack on the gender of the justices as well. As if only men could rule against, any man on that Supreme Court is going to rule against women, and when they do it, it's because of their gender. Meanwhile, there was a male justice in the dissent in the Hobby Lobby case. Stephen Breyer was not with the majority, but apparently his gender played no role in that. Can you imagine, as I said in my piece, if Speaker Boehner made a derogatory comment about Sotomayor or Kagan or Ginsburg, like she just made?
You're taking Megyn, you're taking the words out of my mouth. If John Boehner were to say, well, Sotomayor, she's a woman.
Right.
What do you expect?
What do you expect?
Do you think the news media would cover this? They'd be all over it.
Brent, good to see you.